I go to this like Italian sandwich shop, but they're like, "Oh yeah, order for Barbara," and I'm like,
Oh, well, you're in
I
Boston
love this. I
now.
know, I love it, and it's funny because when I came to visit before, I didn't hear anybody with an accent. I'm like, "Where's the Boston accent?" And then I hear it today. I'm like, "Yes, this is what I needed."
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Women's Game. I am so thrilled to be joined by a rising star of the global game. She's played for the Houston Dash in the NWSL and Monterrey and Tigres in Liga MX in Mexico. And she's proudly represented Venezuela on the international stage. And very soon, she's going to be bringing her speed and creativity to the Boston Legacy midfield. Please welcome Barbara Olivieri. Barbara, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so exciting, and yeah, you can call me Barb.
Okay, good. I was actually going to ask.
Barbara, too much.
I know. It's like you calling me Samantha. It's just
right?
Like,
you get it. You understand.
We're not doing that. Okay, Barb. All right. I'm excited to chat. This episode of Friendlies is brought to you by Verizon, a proud supporter of the global game and the players who inspire us on and off the pitch. As an official sponsor of the FIFA World Cup 2026, Verizon is honored to help share the stories of the world's top players, including the incredible women who are changing the game at every level. Stay tuned for more on how Verizon can get you connected to the game we love. All right, everybody, here is Barb Olivieri. I feel like so far, like this January, I've been catching up with everybody about the holidays. And as much as I do hope you had fun with your family, what I actually want to ask you about was what it was like to compete in the first World Sevens tournament here in the US that happened just before the holidays in December. I know you were playing there with your former team, Tigres. Can you explain for anybody who doesn't know what this tournament is and why it's different from other soccer competitions?
I've heard about it before, right? But I don't think that they've done it in the US, but it was for me, a player that likes kind of like, just being free and playing quick, like little technical soccer. I mean, it was so fun and I loved it. It was really cool.
It looks so fun. And yeah, they did do the very first tournament was last May. I know you were competing with your former team, Tigres, the Liga MX club. You were on loan with them from the Houston Dash. Obviously, such a dominant team in Mexico, regularly winning the league. But what was different for you and your teammates about preparing for a 7v7 tournament instead of like your normal games?
Well, it was funny because we actually had the championships, like, we won the Liga MX, I wanna say maybe 2 weeks prior, and then we had camp. So it was like, win the championship, celebrate the championship, obviously, wake up the next morning, fly to camp, which I think I flew to Ecuador first, and then basically get back from camp and then World 7. So we didn't really have that much time to, like, get ready, but the high of winning, I guess, was nice, I guess.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then I also know that this was kind of like your last event with Tigres. I'm wondering if that kind of inspired you to just kind of have fun with it. Obviously, it's a fun tournament anyway, but what was it like for you was it emotional? Did you enjoy it? Like, what was that kind of transition moment like?
I knew it was gonna come to an end because I knew I was gonna come to Boston, so I definitely had my mindset on, like, yeah, let's, like, enjoy it, like, it's a good little prep for, after I move across the country to the north, so I honestly took it super light and fun. Obviously, I did not expect to just be so close with the team, but, like, they're amazing, and the World Sevens, yeah, that was so fun. Yeah, we got to the finals. It was
I
cool.
know.
It was cool. I don't know, it was like a fun atmosphere, Like,
Exactly. Yeah, there's like
super
music
fun.
playing. It seems
Yeah.
like such a fun kind of break from like the intensity and like pressure of playing in a regular
Yes.
league and playing for the national team. I
Yes.
am like so jealous you guys have that opportunity now. It seems like such a fun tournament. And I also always like really prided myself on being good at small sided. So I'm like, dang, I would have loved World
Love to do that.
Sevens. I know.
Just
So fun
come
to
back.
watch.
Come back to a World Sevens.
Oh,
Why
I
not?
would literally
Why not?
love to. Oh, I would
How
have
cool
like
would
one
that
little
be?
crutch out there, but that would be so fun. I do want to come back to like your current career. I want to talk a lot to you about the Boston Legacy, but first, I want to kind of give our listeners like a crash course in your life and career in case not everybody's familiar yet. I know you grew up in Katy, Texas, just outside of Houston, with your parents who are from Venezuela, and that was a culture that you felt really connected to from a very young age. Can you just talk to us a little bit more about your family, what it was like to grow up in a household that was kind of blending American and Venezuelan culture?
We're pretty small, like, it's just my dad, my mom, and my brothers. My first language was Spanish because obviously they would talk to me in Spanish. Well, when I was 3, they put me in soccer because they were like, "This kid does not, like, go to bed, like, she has too much energy, like, what can we do to, like" I was apparently evil. And so they're like, "Let's put her in soccer." I mean, they would tell me I would score, like, 8 goals a match as a 3-year-old, and then they would put me with, like, the boys. It would be like a intermixed team, like boys and girls. I would blow it out the park, and I just loved just scoring goals, and then it's history from there. And then I obviously started going to school, kind of then it's weird because now English is, like, my first language even though I
Mm.
learned Spanish. It's super weird, but I'll speak good Spanish. I am fluent, but, like, it's not nah,
I
like,
know.
I'm there.
I hear if you like. I mean, I don't. I sadly, I'm ashamed to say I don't really speak another language at all. I did take a few years of French in high school, but like they say if you
Okay.
don't use it, you lose it, and like I have completely lost it. I also like randomly took Romanian in college to like fulfill my foreign language requirement, and like could not tell you one word of
That
Romanian,
is
even though I got like an
hilarious.
A. I know, very random. Okay, we're gonna come back to speaking Spanish in
Yeah,
just a second.
let's go, Matt.
You say your parents put you in soccer because you had so much energy and you were running around all the time, you wouldn't go to sleep. Did your brother play soccer? Did your parents have like a history with soccer? Did they choose soccer for any specific reason?
No, I my dad liked baseball. He's, like, a super
Oh.
big baseball guy, but I think they saw, like, an advertisement or something. Because I remember my mom at first was like, "Don't put her in soccer, like, do something else, like, dance or something, like, do something like that." And she's laughing. And my dad was like, "No, let's put her in soccer, like, whatever." So they chose it, like, that just wasn't what it was, and then I tried every sport in the book from being little too. I would on the off seasons, like, I would do basketball, softball, like, tennis, and just soccer was the one, like, I don't know, it was crazy, one and done, they picked the right one, I guess,
Well, I
because
apparently
yeah,
they really did. And then
it's crazy.
obviously a few years later in 2013, your parents took you to one of the Houston Dash's very first games. Do you remember what that was like? Can you kind of take us into that moment watching women's professional soccer in your hometown?
That was, like, pretty insane because before that, we would go a lot to, like, the Houston Dynamo, the men's team, and, like, all the time, we would go, whatever. And then I remember I was in 6th grade, and my English teacher was, like I remember I loved her because she was super, like, just sporty, would always talk about sports and this and that, and she was like, "Hey, like, I'm gonna go to the Dash game," like, for something she said, like, "There's gonna be a soccer game," and I was like, "A soccer game? No way." Tell my parents, and we go that weekend because at that point I'm with, I think, Albie on my club team, and they got us to be ball girls or something like that for the game, and I was so excited. All my teammates were so excited. We were like, "There's no way, like, there's a women's team, you know, that, like,
Yeah.
that's what we do for fun after school," and then seeing them, like, with a crowd and, like, we're there cheering them on is super cool. So I remember being like, I wanna be there one day, and full circle, I ended up being there. So it was really
I
cool.
I know we're going to get to that in a second. I have very similar memories of seeing the Boston Breakers play in the earlier iterations of the league when I was young, even seeing, if I'm remembering correctly, the national team play near where I lived at Gillette Stadium when I was young. And
Yeah.
just having that, and everybody talks about this all the time. It's not like, a new thought by any means, but just the representation and the closeness of seeing something you love, somebody doing it at a
Yeah.
really high level and just going, oh, I can like reach out and touch that right now. And that means
Yeah.
maybe someday like I could actually do this. I think that those moments and those memories are so important for young girls to have. I know that, seeing the Dash play in person really inspired you. You kept pushing. I'm obviously, moving through this very, very quickly, but you eventually attracted attention of youth national teams. Obviously, you were an American citizen born to Venezuelan parents. So you had this opportunity to make a decision and pursue playing either for the US or Venezuela. And you ended up choosing Venezuela. I'm so interested in why, at such a young age, you knew that was the right choice for you.
That one's interesting because my first US youth team was or US youth camp was U14s, I think. So I was with them until U17s. I remember at that point I was a sophomore in high school, and they sent a letter. Somehow they sent a letter, and they're like, "Oh, come to a camp in Venezuela." So I had never been to Venezuela, like, and I was like, "You know what? Like, yeah, I kinda wanna go," and my parents were super excited. Obviously, they're like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, like, it's gonna be your first time there." like, it'd be really cool if you go and try it out, and I was excited because I was like, "Yeah, it's gonna be a new experience," so I went, and the camp was actually in an island off of it, where it's actually where my mom was grew up, but it's called Margarita.
Oh,
It's an
wow.
island. Yeah. So that was exciting for them because they obviously were like, "You're gonna kinda get to see where we're from," type of thing. And, yeah, I mean, I remember I had a conversation, like, with the US coach at the time, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna try and do this," and then I liked it, and I was like, "I feel like could be a cool opportunity," and at the time, I wouldn't say it was growing in Venezuela, but I enjoyed it. It was kind of different, and it felt like a little more like I was more free to play creatively. It just
Mhm.
felt like that when I was younger, I guess. I don't know, but I ended up just sticking with that.
I mean, it's amazing. I've heard you in a different interview talk a little bit about how the first time you went to Venezuela, you felt connected to the culture there, even though you had never been there before, and that you could kind of like tell a piece of you was from there. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that? Like what it was that helped you feel that and know that?
That's funny that you say that because yeah, I remember when we would have breakfast, it would be like arepas are a breakfast food that is Venezuelan. My mom would always make it as a kid, and I was always like, "Oh, that's just like what my mom makes for breakfast." But then seeing it just being like a buffet style of arepas, it was like cool
Yeah.
because I'm like, "Oh my god, that's what I eat!" Like, and like the way they eat it and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, that felt very like home type of thing. And then obviously hearing them speaking Spanish with a certain accent that my parents have, like it felt cool. It felt cool. And also, we're all so different. Like, I come from such a different they were born in Venezuela. It's just, like, a very different life, but it felt still, like, cool to, like,
Yeah.
meet them, you know?
That is really, really cool. Well, we recently had your Venezuelan teammate and captain Dana Castellanos on this show. She told us about some of her hopes for the team. Many of us saw you guys compete in the Copa America this summer. What are some of your goals for your Venezuela national team?
We're in really good looks to hopefully make the first World Cup, hopefully. Yeah, because it's in Brazil, so that gives us an extra
Oh,
spot.
yeah.
So that would be really, really cool. We have the big fecha or, like, FIFA date in April. So we play Argentina, Colombia, and Bolivia. So if we do good, we should be in a good spot. So
Oh my
hopefully.
gosh. That is so exciting. That would be really,
Yeah.
really cool to see you there next summer. What do you think the team needs to do in that FIFA window or just in general, like maybe even resource wise, in order to kind of make that push for the 2027 World Cup?
Well, I think the big change was like our coach. Like he's amazing. Like I really think he's completely changed the team. But he just gives us that confidence that I don't think we've had before. And I feel like it's shown in just the way we play now. It's very like we want to have the ball and we're only going to do stuff with the ball. We have to be confident. You're going to make mistakes. Like that's going to happen. We have to put also the grit out there and yeah, I feel like he's been a really good part to kind of bringing the team together as well, like just everybody.
Oh, well, I'm excited to watch. Good luck. I'll be cheering for you guys. That would be really, really cool to see. I do want to switch gears a little bit and go back into your club career a little bit. Obviously, you continued pushing from a young age to just reach higher and higher for yourself. You played for 2 years at Texas A&M, and then you chose to leave after your sophomore year to go pro in the Mexican Women's Soccer League. You played for Monterrey. I'm interested in that decision and being at that point in your life. What made you decide to go to that team and even that league?
I committed to A&M very young, like ninth grade, I think, and
Mhm.
that was like very common at that time.
I
Everyone
know.
was doing that. I don't. Yeah, you
Mhm.
remember like it
Mhm.
was just like a thing. Like I had friends in like eighth grade committing, and
I
it's just like
know. It's crazy.
why? Like we don't even know what's to come.
I
That like
know.
how are we doing that? But anyways, I did do that because my grandpa went to A&M, so it made it very easy to kind of choose, and I've always been around there. So I was there for 2 years, and I before I went to college, I would always tell my mom, like I'd be like, "Mom, like Lindsay Horan didn't go to college and she went pro, and Mallory Pugh didn't go to college and she went pro. Like I wanted to go pro, like since I was little, and I would always tell them they're like, go to college, this, and I'm like, okay, like all right, I'll go to college. Our first year, we did really well. We went to, like, the Elite 8, lost against UNC, and then the next year, it was kinda just, like the level just went down, like, a lot of our captains and leaders left, so it was just like, maybe I should transfer, And then I just signed with my agent, Guillermo, at that time, and he was like, "Okay, let's look for a transfer, or there's this opportunity in Monterrey to go pro." And I was like, "No way, this is the moment." Let me beg my parents to go pro, and yeah, they said yes, so I took the jump.
Was it a tough decision, or were you convinced from the minute you were presented with it?
I was convinced.
Oh, I
Like,
love that.
I was just like, "I just need to get my parents on board and we're good." So, I did online school until they didn't have it anymore because it was COVID, so my first year
Yeah.
of college was COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So, it was a very interesting start to college. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was fun, but but I wouldn't change it for the world, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, what a strange time, and I do think, right around that time, it was becoming way more common for players to either skip college entirely or do significantly less years in college to start their professional careers sooner. I did also read, though, you mentioned that you are fluent in Spanish, but you realized when you went to Mexico that Mexican Spanish and Venezuelan Spanish are a little bit different. Did you have any memorable early mix-ups?
Yes, it's so funny because I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be a piece of cake, like, I already know Spanish," and then I go there and I'm speaking to my teammates, and I say a word, like, I don't know, I almost said a bad word. I don't know. Let's just say I say a word, and then let's just say I said a word, and they'd be like, "Huh?" I'm like, what do you mean? Spanish? Do we not?" And they're like, "I've never heard of that in my life." Happens all the time. And I guess my accent doesn't pronounce S's sometimes. And they
Okay.
always pronounce they're very with the S's. And I would say something with I don't know. Ah, viste. I would say, ah, viste. And they'd be like, ah, you don't pronounce your S's. I'm like, okay. All right. Thanks, guys. This is
Wow.
making me really comfortable in my new team. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
I
funny.
mean, wow. Honestly, I wish I could relate desperately. I'm embarrassed again that I don't speak any other languages, but I also, I don't really ever get made fun of for saying anything wrong because can't even
Yeah,
try.
yeah. Well, it's like today. Like today, I go to this Italian sandwich shop, and we're
Uh-huh.
going on a tangent. I'm sorry,
Oh
but
no, please.
but but they're like, oh yeah, order for Barbara, and I'm like,
Oh, well, you're in
I
Boston
love this. I
now.
know, I love it, and it's funny because when I came to visit before, I didn't hear anybody with an accent. I'm like, where's the Boston accent? And then I hear it today. I'm like, yes, this is what I needed. So
Yep.
that's kind of how it feels like Barbara, Barbara. I say it different, and they make fun
Yeah.
of me. So,
Oh, well,
but
I can't wait to hear, we'll have to touch base in a few months about your, all the changes that you're
yes.
about to experience in Boston. We're going to get to Boston in just a second. I want to go back to your early days playing in Mexico. You're newly a professional. What was that first team and that first experience like for you?
It was actually, pretty tough for me because I not that I thought it would be an easy transition, but I was always used to kind of going to a team and being a starter,
Yeah.
scoring goals, that was what I was used to, and it's the truth, and then I didn't think that that was gonna affect me later because, yeah, I'm in a new team, it's professional, it's not college anymore, it's not something
Mhm.
where I'm comfortable, that was kind of the first time that I'm like, "Dang, I need to, discipline more," or, I just need to mentally just be more aware of that stuff because it did affect me a lot not playing as much, and I just felt, so nervous because it was I don't know, I felt like now I'm a pro, I have to have all this pressure on me of, performing, I guess, and so it was a tough year because I only did it for 8 months. I was only there for 8 months. Also moving away, even though it wasn't far from Houston, it's an hour flight, it still affected me, not having, friends and family, that
Yeah.
part was just hard.
It is a huge transition. It's definitely a step up in level. I remember, going through similar things, especially in my early days with the national team of honestly, and you didn't say this, but doubting myself, do I belong here? Mentally, it was just the expectation was so much higher, to learn things tactically, to be mentally tough, to be away from home more, to just be playing with women who were so good and so strong and had been doing this for years. It was such a huge jump. You mentioned eventually you did go home. You got a call from the Houston Dash. the team that, you know, inspired you to want to play professionally in the first place. What was that like for you, you know, after kind of you said a difficult stint away from home? What was it like to have the opportunity to be recognized by the Dash and the opportunity to go closer to home?
I remember being so excited because I was like, I think that's what I need right now, especially after, you know, it was a tough year. I think that was kind of like a wake up call year. Like, hey, like you have a lot to learn. Like you didn't know
Mm-hmm.
everything. You thought you knew a
Mm-hmm.
lot, but you don't. You don't know as much as you thought. So yeah, getting the call back from Houston was exciting. Getting to be with my friends again and just kind of feeling home was really nice. And then I knew more of what to expect and stuff like that. So but yeah, first year was definitely tough, but it was definitely better.
Honestly, it even sounds like, you know, you kind of went away from home, had this like trial period where you learned a lot about yourself, getting to come home and kind of reset, be around your family. Did your family get to come see you play a lot?
All the time, every game, yeah, they're
Oh,
amazing. Yeah.
that is
They're
so
far,
great.
they're like 40-ish minutes
Okay.
from Houston, but they would always drive down and see the game, so that's
That's
exciting for them
amazing.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, it sounds like it was kind of an opportunity for you to reset and prepare yourself to maybe go away again and, you know, have this
Yeah,
other new experience again. And finally, we're arriving at the time in the story where
right?
you're making this even bigger move. You're going to go play with the Boston Legacy for their inaugural 2026 season. You already mentioned somebody, you know, saying your name with a Boston accent, which you should get used to. But I also hate to be the one to have to tell you this, but Boston must be cold right now.
Oh
Do you
my
feel like you're
goodness.
prepared for the weather after spending so much time in like Texas and Mexico?
Like, not at all, like, not even a little bit, but honestly, it's not too bad. Like, today is not too bad. It was sunny, like
Great.
37. Let's see, it's okay,
Great.
44 right now.
Ah,
To me,
balmy.
absolutely freezing. To you, it's probably like hot, like shorts and t-shirt. Not terrible.
Yeah.
Not terrible. But I need
Yeah.
to get a trench coat for sure.
Yeah, you need to get a winter puffy coat.
Yeah.
So you have just arrived in Boston. Preseason is like, you know, by the time this episode comes out later this week, I think preseason will officially have started. What are
Mhm.
your like first impressions? Like, did you just move into your apartment? Like, what have you seen? What do you think so far?
So I flew in last night at around maybe 6:30. I was heading to the apartments that I'm at in Quincy. Yeah, I hadn't seen Quincy, so I had no idea. I came in the darkness when in an Uber, and I was like, "I have no idea where I'm going." I get here, and it's so, like, it's like to me, it's like a movie, like, it's just cute, like, it's so like, the buildings are
Oh,
old looking, but, like,
yeah.
I love that, like, I'm not used to seeing that, and I love it, like, it's so cool. It's so different from Houston. I mean, you've
Hmm.
probably obviously been there, but, like, yeah, it's so different.
Boston is very unique. I'm like so obviously I'm from like 20 miles south of Boston. It's called the South Shore, but not too far from Quincy. So Quincy is also south of, you know, the city.
Right.
I'm just if you keep going down 93 south, I'm from
Okay.
down there. You'll learn
Nice.
eventually.
I will.
But I'm so excited that there's a team there and it's so funny like hearing you talk about it. I like can't wait to interact with more players who are part of the team and hear what they think. I'm curious first and foremost, like when you heard Boston was coming in, how did talks start with the team and what kind of attracted you to Boston and to the legacy?
I heard Boston was coming 2 expansion teams. I didn't know who yet, actually,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think that's how it kinda
Yeah.
came about. I just talked to my agent and I was like, you know, "What do you think about the new expansion teams? Like, is there any, you know, what," and he was like, "Oh, yeah, there's Denver and Boston. Would you be interested in Boston?" I was like, "Heck yeah." Like, I think that's such a cool city and, like, so different from where I'm from and used to, and I feel like I'm at a comfort level that I'm ready to do a little jump to, like, something different. I think that'll help me grow as a person and on the field. Like, I really do think that. So, I feel like it was a pretty easy choice to make, and yeah, obviously my family was like, "No, you're leaving again," but
Oh.
I was ready. I think, yeah, it was pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, you sound ready. Obviously, this club has an incredible all-women ownership group. They have an exciting coach, Philippa Patau, who transformed Portuguese club Benfica. Then there's some other staff from Barcelona, from the WSL. The team is going to have its own stadium and training facility, and feels like, the legacy are really gearing up to do something big. But obviously, an expansion team also comes, tons of excitement and also, of course, some challenges. So what are your expectations for this first season?
That's what's the funniest thing. Like my expectations are like, I have no idea. We actually met a few of the girls today because we had to go try on like some gear and stuff. And I mean, already I'm like, we seem like such cool people and like we're so excited. Like you could just tell everyone was excited.
I
Like I think that's cute to like see, like
Yeah.
usually you come after off season, you're like,
I know.
like vacation's over. It's really just gonna be more of like building that chemistry. I mean, we basically won't be here for the next 2 months for preseason, so
because you're traveling to warmer weather to do preseason elsewhere.
Yeah, completely missing this winter weather, thankfully. Although I do want to see snow, but hopefully.
I think you'll see some snow.
You think
I think
so?
you'll see some snow. Yeah,
Okay.
I think somewhere along the way you'll see some snow. I've been thinking a lot about, I was a part of not an expansion team, but my team in Western New York moved, like the whole team got bought and moved to North Carolina. That was in 2017. And I think something that I thought a lot about around that time was like, this is day one of a totally new thing. Like this is kind of the group of players that's here on day one get to set the culture and the tone for like what this club is forever. And it's like a really cool opportunity and also kind of a responsibility to, how we decide to treat each other, how we talk to each other on the field, what standards we set as a team, like what we decide the identity and the culture of this club is kind of up to that like core initial group. And I'm curious, obviously, look, you like just got there, but I'm curious if you were thinking about it through that lens and you're all going to get together and start preseason, what would you say is the most important thing for like a brand new team to rally around and to embody from the very beginning?
I mean, exactly what you said. I feel like I completely agree. Like day one of, like tomorrow we have day one of meet everyone, but it's not training. So I think, yeah, just meeting everyone off the field is gonna be like, yeah, let's be nice to each other.
Yeah.
I don't know, let's be free and open to just kind of meet off the field first, and then we can kind of bring that into like the first day of training where we're gonna see a completely different side because obviously competitiveness comes out and all that. I feel like that's gonna be exciting to see. And for me personally, yeah, like for day one of training especially is like building that standard of like, like we want to win, we want to get better. Drills are intense. Like I feel like that'll be super important. And I know that our head coach thinks the same from what I've talked to her. She's like, yeah, intensity and competitiveness will be a standard. So
I love to hear that. Part of me is like, oh, it's so cool. It's such an amazing opportunity that you all get to do that and, kind of like decide and create the culture of a club moving forward. It's really, really cool. I know some of your teammates are, coming from all over the world, Canada, Brazil, Japan. Is there anybody in particular you're really excited to play with?
Alba's from Barcelona. I feel like that'll be a really cool European addition. I mean, the Brazilians too. I feel like that'll be fun. Just with, I don't know, culture. Like I feel like that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Yeah. It's going to be so fun. For any like Boston fans listening and excited to get to know you as a player more, how would you describe what you yourself will be bringing to the field?
I'll bring hard work, creativity, hopefully, some entertainment, some speed. Hope so. I need to work on that, but yeah, hopefully someone fun to watch and hopefully some goals.
Well, I love that. Okay, just a couple more questions for you. Obviously, I've mentioned I'm from Boston. I was talking your ear off about the South Shore. Do you have any questions for me about Boston? Like, is there anything I can help you with?
Yes, so many. Oh my God, let me pull out my notebook. Yeah, so our trains, how often do you use trains? I can't even put in my mind how a train could possibly work, genuinely.
It's so funny that you asked that. First, everybody calls it the T.
The T, okay, don't say
the T.
T.
Well, you can say train. Like, it's fine. But everybody, if you want to sound like you're from Boston, everybody calls it the T.
The T.
I imagine, you would be you're on the red line in Quincy, I assume, which will take you right into Boston. It will also take you the other way to Braintree. I don't use the T very much. I have lived my like adult time spent in Boston has been mostly in Dorchester. So occasionally I would use the red line to get into the city if it was like convenient. But I feel like I was always training. So I was always like going to a field in the suburbs, or my gym was in the suburbs. So I drove a lot, which I also don't really recommend because it's like trafficy and like parking stuff. It's like the city. So I actually recommend you get good at the train. Nothing bad's really going to happen. You might just get on going the wrong way sometimes, and you just get right off and you switch sides, and it's totally fine. But I'm not the person to ask, sadly. I wish I was. Man. I'm just I'm scared of the T.
I'm terrified of the T. Like,
it's just the map
in New York. I don't know. Like,
you're not going to end up in New York. At worst, you'll end up like half a mile the wrong direction. It's like not that bad. But just get with someone local if you can, and they'll teach you, and you'll learn it quick.
Luckily, I do have two out of soccer friends, so hopefully she'll help me out. That's amazing. With the T.
Maybe she can help me out too. Okay, Barb, this was so fun. But before we go, I do just want to say, obviously, I appreciate you, coming on the show, talking to us about your journey and really what it means to you to be Venezuelan and represent everybody there. I think obviously, like, there's a lot going on in the news right now, and I think it sometimes is easy to forget that on the other side of like these headlines and like geopolitics, there are real people that we all just have so much in common with. And I think that soccer is one of those things that brings everybody together, especially here in the NWSL. We see so many incredible players from so many countries on the field together, working together to reach one goal. So my last question for you is, what does it mean to you to be part of such a diverse league? And what do you hope both Venezuelan and American fans feel when they watch you play?
What's great about the league is exactly what you said, how diverse it is. And, it keeps growing. The diversity keeps growing. And I think, that's great for football. It's great for the league, just bringing a lot of different fans as well, like you said, and a different perspective to soccer. I think that's the most beautiful part about soccer. Even when you go play pickup, you meet these random people that you have nothing in common, but then you start playing and it's like, you just build this little bond on the field. And yeah, I just hope that the fans have fun watching the team. And I really hope that the Boston Legacy can be a fun team to watch this year. And I really do think they will. And we will.
They are so lucky to have you. I cannot wait to watch. I'm planning on being at your home opener on March 14th at Gillette Stadium. And when I'm around, maybe we can try and take the T.
Let's take the T. Let's take the T. Let's take the T with some tea and spill some tea. There we go.
I love it. Thank you so much, Barbara. It was so nice to chat.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This has been so fun.
Thank you all so much for listening. Getting to know Barb was awesome. I have my heart set on taking the tea together and maybe even showing her some of my favorite Boston spots. Before we let you go, we've got our linked up voicemail of the week presented by Verizon. Each week, we want to hear from you, so call and leave us a voicemail at 855-611-4050, and you could be featured on a future episode of Friendlies. We would really love to hear from you. Here's our caller this week.
Hi, Sam. This is Laura from Riverside, and my favorite team is Angel City. I just read about the Sam Coffey to Man City news, and my question for you is, how are you feeling about Sam Coffey moving to your former WSL club? Thanks. Love the show.
Hi, Laura. Thank you so much for calling in. I am super excited for Sam, and just hearing her talk a little bit about this move, I know she's really looking forward to the new opportunity and that she's wanted to play abroad for her whole life. I'm really glad that the news comes so close to the news of Lindsay Heaps coming back to the NWSL, because I know it's been feeling lately like so many of our national team players are heading overseas. And I know that I and the fans will miss having them here domestically. Obviously, seeing Sam Coffey play week after week for the Portland Thorns has been awesome, and just watching her development over the years. But I have always said that I think every player who wants to try playing overseas should try to make it happen if they can. And so I think Man City specifically is going to be a great team for Sam Coffey to step into. I'm excited to see her play in that midfield with that attack and she'll just continue to grow as a midfielder and get even better for the national team. Obviously, we will miss having her here, but I am excited that Lindsay's coming back, so it kind of feels like a little swap. That was our linked up voicemail of the week presented by Verizon. Laura, thank you so much for calling. If you want to join us for this segment, the banana phone is always open. You can give me a call at 855-611-4050. Leave a message, ask me a question, and you could be the next featured listener. Thanks to our friends at Verizon. Next week's guest on the show is going to be U.S. Women's National Team goalkeeper Claudia Dickey. The national team is heading into camp for 2 games, so I'm excited to catch up with Claudia ahead of camp and hear how she's approaching 2026. Thank you all so much for listening. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel or podcast feed. And also, you should check out our newsletter that gets delivered to your inbox every Tuesday with all the news you need to know. Thank you all again, and we'll see you soon.